grab your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And real quick housekeeping note, if you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble or BitChute or Odyssey, please hit that follow and subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple or Google or any of the podcast platforms, please hit that follow and subscribe button. Also, for all our fans that are, we are doing another ticket giveaway contest for Sonic Temple Festival coming to Columbus, Ohio. So if you are, want to try for a chance to win those, please hit our social media platforms up. We'll be putting an announcement out there on either our Instagram or Facebook. So follow us on there as well. But anyway, we'll be getting into Sonic Temple and a few other things here as I'm talking with Lucas from the band. Now, I just spell it out, but is there a proper pronunciation for it, or?
Air, yeah, like air,
Air.
like the air you breathe. Yeah, it's like a play off
okay.
air to the throne. If you want to use that, like H-E-I-R, H-E-I-R. Yeah, just stylized with an A because there's some band called Air already with an H. So.
Okay, and then so it's not like initials for anything. It's just
No, we had a lot of fun trying to come up with those, but no.
Nice. But yeah, Lucas, the singer of the band Air. And usually when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to get a quick background. So do you remember originally what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, man. A lot of different things. I liked construction equipment for some reason. But mostly I think I was really into sports. I was good at soccer. I loved football, but I was too small for football. I'm like 5'9", 125 pounds. And my brother was a few years older and played on the football team. But I always loved sports. I wanted to be an athlete, I think.
Nice.
And then around 15, 16 is really like 14, 15 is when the rock and roll, took over, and I wanted to, got into blues music and all the rock and roll that my dad and my mom were showing me. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. So then, like, when did music kind of catch your ear, and who were some early influences?
Oh man, super young because both my parents really into music. My mom's really good pianist. My dad, would be jamming his vinyls in the basement as far back as I have memories. 4 or 5 years old. And first influences were my parents' type of music. Both of them listened to everything, but my dad was born in '55, so the Led Zeppelins, the Black Sabbath, Hendrix's. All of those things, and I got really into blues music at one point too when I was playing a lot of guitar. So those are some of my first influences, watching the DVDs with my dad and stuff like that, and idolizing those people until eventually I started to find my own music that I enjoyed too. So.
And then who were some of those that when you started kind of coming into your own and discovering?
Well, my age group, being in middle school, going into high school, stuff that I really gravitated towards that was like really crazy and coming out as stuff like Linkin Park, believe it or not. That band blew up. I remember one of their songs being in a video game I played, and Hybrid Theory had just came out. So they were probably one of my first like serious like listen to the CD until it stopped working type of bands. But from there it moved quickly. I've listened to everything, rap, blues, it doesn't matter. But I'd say that was one of the earliest bands that I could say that was one of my own finds that I really like gravitated towards.
Nice. And then like as time went on growing up, listening to that music, when was it where you were like, you know what, this is something I want to pursue myself?
It was my dad had guitars and played guitars. My mom, we took piano lessons when we were younger. She played piano, so I'd say like 12. Around 12, my dad taught me, Secret Agent Man on guitar, and taught me uh, Smoke on the Water, like real easy stuff around 12, but I didn't really mess with it too much. Learned some open chords. And then it was really around 15 when I was in high school. I had a buddy that his dad played in blues bands, cover bands and stuff. And that's when I really started to learn theory and started to really get into music. And then right away, it was punk rock, bands like Green Day, Blink, because they're so easy to play, just mashing on power chords. But really, really quickly, I fell in love with blues music and went back into that. And that's when I really started to dive into guitar theory and playing lead guitar. Now I just sing and play a little bit of rhythm. I leave the lead guitar playing to the more professionals, the guys that are better than I am. But around, I would say 15 is when it really dug in. I was really good at soccer, but it was, affecting me and my athletics, having fun, playing music, some of the stuff that comes along with that,
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. And then, so, you're in school, and then you start meeting some more like-minded individuals. When did you start forming like your own, your bands?
Right then, 15, 16, we had original music. I was the rhythm guitar player for the guy that showed me a lot of stuff on guitar. And not only that, but his dad, like I said, played in blues cover bands named Sam Walls. His dad name is Don Walls. And I played bass in his dad's, for a couple gigs, played bass in his dad's cover band. And then I had my own original band with that other cat and had some original songs. I remember being 16 and loading in gear, then having to wait outside the club until an hour before the set, and then the set's over, unloading and having to leave, a half an hour to an hour after that. Can't hang out because being underage. But yeah, around then I had my first band in high school up until 18, 19, and that band ended, and then I started playing. I actually quit music for like maybe 6 months.
Oh, you froze up on me.
It was an awkward thing. So I actually was really discouraged by that, and both my parents, again, shout out to them, were like, "This is the best thing that could have happened to you." So I started playing again, singing again, and then started my own band called Astro Gypsy. And then some cats in Columbus, a band called Zoo Trippin', met them, and they really helped that band kind of get into the Columbus scene. And that would have been years later at like 23, 4 probably. So,
yeah, I was going to ask you, what was like the music scene like down there in Columbus when you guys were getting started?
A lot like how it is now. You got a lot of locals that grind really hard. Columbus, I think, is the 14th biggest, 14th or 15th, where it's just behind Indianapolis. But the music scene there kind of could be a lot more than what it's given credit for, and I think it is a lot more than what's given credit for. There's a really good music scene, and obviously with a festival like Sonic Temple being around, that kind of shows it. There's so much talent in Columbus, from all types of genres of music, and then also even comedy, stuff like that. There's all sorts of talent there. So I wouldn't say it's much different than what it was like when I first got into it. I think I just got into the scene more, got more experience in it, met more people in it, stuff like that. And there's so much talent in Columbus. It is really is a music city.
Nice. And then when did Aeir come together for you?
I was on tour with my old band called the Turbos, and in 2019 we did like 160 shows, 40 some states, 33,000 miles on a tour. It was broken into 46 dates, 60 dates, and then 60 dates. We ended a little early, but I was on the way back from the tour, and was kind of kind of a little defeated by some of the motivation by a guy or so in the band, and was writing in my book new names for a band because I was also told that I shouldn't be singing. So, or that I wasn't, I wasn't a singer essentially. And that really pissed me off and motivated me. And I was like, I'm going to be a freaking front man. I don't know. Can we swear on this show?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was told I wasn't, and I wanted to be so I was like, fuck it. I'm going to be a front man. I'm going to go for this. And, called up Taylor, who is, one of my best friends. And, he and I started this band. He was the first guy I called. He was in another band called Koya Hill while I was in the Turbos. And, essentially we had always wanted to be in bands together. I knew they didn't have a drummer, and I knew that I wanted to do something else. And he had a good friend, and my good friend Casey Lane, who is an incredible guitar player, and they already had their chemistry. So I was, called him up, got Taylor involved, got Casey involved, and then from there it just kind of picked up steam. And then Taylor and I, that was around January or February of 2020. And then Taylor and I just started writing songs like crazy. We wrote like 30, 40 songs in the first, year, and then kept going. And we wrote like 60 songs rapidly, and started finding out that we had really good chemistry writing together, whether I started a song and he finished it, or vice versa, or I would send him a whole song and he would make slight adjustments. So really 2020, early 2020, right around there is when the band started, and it just picked up tons of steam.
All right. And then we touched a little bit on it, but like, how did you guys come up with the band name, and what's it like mean to you?
It was just one of several names I had in my book that I was writing, because I knew I wanted to do a new band. Didn't know who was going to be in it yet. And some of the other ones I had, I think Royal Radio was one of them. Another one I had was Modern Cop. But Aeir, and it was with an H, H-E-I-R. I liked that and had circled it. And then these days you have to look up band names and see if anybody else has it and stuff like that. So I looked that up, and it was a band already. So then I said, fuck it, and changed it to an A. And then later on, Taylor's wife came up with the idea for like the air symbol, the elemental symbol for air. And then we had a local painter come up with the design you see behind me there, like the A with the paint thing. Oh, and nice. And we went with that. So it means to me, it's just I don't know. It is just a band name, but to me, it's just if there's a deeper meaning, it's taking that step out into the unknown with your musicality and creativity, and taking a risk with trying to start something. That's kind of what it means personally to me. And then it's been one of the best things that I've done in my life because of all the opportunities it's opened up. So.
Yeah, it was like, your other former bandmate or whatever is like telling you you're not a front man, and you said, fuck it, you're gonna go out and prove them wrong, and it was like almost like a new breath of life for you. And along with that, like, he did say that, and at that time I wasn't the singer that I am now either. So in some form, I think I need to maybe thank him too for saying that, because then that changed my approach, that changed how much I worked on it, that changed me spending hours in my garage recording songs and doing take after take on demos. And I learned how to scream, so as much as that pushed me out, I don't think I can sit there and be like upset with him for saying that anymore, because it pushed me to another level, Yeah, nice. You took the negative and turned it into a positive. Yes, sir. And then, like, as you guys started, like, kind of building your own name as a band, like, what was, some of the hustle, to get that name out there, and like, what all have you guys experienced early on in your career? Oh man, we got lucky. They say sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. We have both of those things going for us. But I had a manager friend of mine named Tim Buckenroth. He's our current manager. He works for FM Music Management. He was located out here in Marysville, and I'd known him for like 12 years at this point. I met him at a B-Dubs after work one night after I was bartending. He was sitting there, and we got to chat about music. And I'd always sent him band demos, and always sent him my music, and nothing really stuck with him. And I eventually sent him the demo for our one single that's out now, Body. And
maybe one other song, and he clicked on it, listened to it, and texted me back right away, call me now. I didn't, and the next thing you know, he's calling me, and he loved it, and then things just fucking went at light speed from there. Like, for the trajectory of most bands, like, usually people are around for a few years or whatever, but this is kind of a little bit of a super group between the Columbus super group between Koya Hill, the Turbos, and Personal Public, and it just kind of went at light speed, because then through FM we got connected with Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction, who's like the label guy for us, and that happened, and then a little while after that we got hooked up with William Morris Endeavor, one of the biggest agencies in the country, and it just happened so fast. And within a year of being with FM, we were on flew out to LA to meet Stephen Perkins and do a couple shows with one of his other bands, and record at 606. We got to meet Dave Grohl, and then we played a show at the Viper Room in front of Gary Spivak, who was one of the top talent buyers for Danny Wimmer Presents. And I guess, he liked it enough. And then next thing you know, we're on Welcome to Rockville, Incarceration, Louder Than Life, Aftershock. And it just, like I said, just boom, just instant, just took off. I think it caught a lot of us by surprise, and it changed it from being, a fun, like drinking party band, having fun playing music, to all of a sudden, holy shit, this is a thing. This is a thing here. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, wow, that was a lot right there.
Yeah.
But like, what I missed the part. Like, how did you guys connect originally with Stephen Perkins?
Through Tim. When it first got going, I had sent Tim a demo early on in Aeir's conception, a demo of the song Body, and I think another song called High. And Tim still works for a company called FM Music Management. That's our management company. Yeah. And there's a bunch of guys there that work with us, Frank, Dino, Bob. But Tim sent it to them and talked to them about it. And the next thing you know, we were in talks with that management company. But they had, apparently Stephen Perkins had already been looking for a band to sign. And for whatever connections, the music world's so connected. It's a smaller circle than a lot of people realize. But
yeah, it is.
Our music landed in Stephen Perkins' fucking hands, and he loved it. And then he sent it to some of his friends and other industry people and asked, "Am I crazy, or is this fucking cool music?" And next thing you know, we're talking to Stephen Perkins, which was pretty wild. So
yeah, and then you said he brings you guys out to LA to record at his studio.
No, at Dave Grohl's studio, 606. Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. Yeah. So
nice.
It's funny. We didn't know if he would show up or not, but we went out there. We played 2 shows at this place called The Wisdom with Stephen Perkins' band Think X, and that's got Scott Page, who's a saxophonist for Pink Floyd, Lawrence Fishburne from Fishbone, trying to think. There's other people. Derek Day from a band called Classless Act.
I've had him out before.
Classless Act's dope. Derek Day is a phenomenal singer. Every time I hear him sing, I'm like, I'm gonna go back. I need to do my homework. But they're a really sick band. So yeah, we were on stage with those guys. Kenny Olson from Kid Rock, Twisted Brown, Tucker band or whatever. He loved us because he's a Detroit boy, so we're Midwest. So Kenny Olson's in that Think X band too. We played 2 shows at the Wisdom with them, doing Pink Floyd songs. We did the Viper Room show, and then we went to 606 and recorded a live version of Body, and then an alternative version of Body that's unreleased as of yet that we really love. And Perkins played drums, and our drummer played drums, and is dual drums. And I think our drummer at the time, he was probably one of the last people to play Taylor Hawkins' studio kit. So,
oh wow.
That was a lot of fun getting to actually sit down with Perkins and play with him and sing with him and watch how his creative brain worked. So,
oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, with all that, sitting under that learning tree and getting that wisdom, and then that'd be an awesome experience then to record at Dave Grohl's studio. And
yeah, Dave Grohl came in.
He's done.
We weren't expecting him to come in, and all of a sudden you see this dude wearing the Canadian tuxedo, denim on denim, big tall dude with long dark hair comes walking in, and we were already cracking into a 30 rack of Bush Light at that point, and he made the comment, you guys drinking already? I was like, yeah. But he came in and he talked to us. He's from Ohio originally, and he spent Yep. He spent a year in like around the campus area, and at the time, our drummer Jari, Dave Grohl knew his dad because his dad was a drummer, and one of the first people he called, Dave Grohl, when he was starting the Foo Fighters, was this guy named Happy from this band called Royal Crescent Mob, which was our drummer's dad's band. So they connected right away, and we're talking about it, and Dave just sat there smoking a cigarette in the live room. Totally Ohio, Midwest, chill, normal, no ego, nicest guy on the planet. You know what I mean? You would have no idea that he's, the biggest rock star and two of the biggest bands that have ever existed in the world, Nirvana and the Foo Fighters. Completely chill. Blew my mind. So
that's awesome that he's kept that, that Midwest laid back attitude. I've heard that quite a bit, so that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, that's how Perkins too. Stephen Perkins is, if anything, he's more like Perkins is more like laughy, goofy. He's got more of the California vibe, but he's still like he's so chill too. I think probably a lot of these people are, to be honest. And maybe you catch them at the wrong time. You might not have that, or if you're bugging them. But
yeah. But then so you said you guys played the Viper Room, and Gary from Danny Wimmer Presents was there, and you guys caught his attention as well, and then that started your relationship with Danny Wimmer and them.
Yeah, he already knew about us because Gary knows Stephen Perkins, so he'd already heard our music and liked it, but we hadn't played live. It's kind of almost, if you will, like a showcase show. Wasn't a lot of people there. It was like, I think Tommy Black. I might be getting his name wrong, but yeah, I think he was the owner of the Viper Room or like Jam or something. But I think he was in the band The Wildabouts. Maybe it's been since 2021. I think since it's been a few years. But all the hops and bong resin in my brain probably are fading my memory. But Gary was there, yeah, and we played, and it was hard because when you play rock and roll shows, you're used to the kind of crowd being there, bodies, and like the intensity of all that. But it was kind of a smaller room with the amount of people that were there because it was like, they wanted to hear what we sounded like and how we were. So, but Gary liked it. He really loved the song "Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em." We talked to him, shook hands, got to meet with him, and I think from there, between our management. Our manager was with us, between management, Stephen Perkins, the label rep, and Gary, they decided to collab and start getting us on some of these festivals. So that's where it started. And, Gary, there's a big shout out to him and really our whole team for getting all those things set up. We got lucky with all that. I don't know if lucky's the right word, but it was a blessing to be thrown into those situations for how early and how young our band was.
Yeah, and I mean, well, you're given a golden opportunity, but you guys had to put in the work and impress them. You didn't shit the bed there in the Viper Room. You obviously, the pressure was definitely on, though. I take it,
Yep. That's the hardest part is, and I always get really nervous before shows. Like when we played Ink, there was like the biggest crowd we played to at that time was probably like 12-ish thousand. So that was a lot. We were even on an earlier time slot, but Volumes was playing right next to us on the other main stage, and then Spirit Box was right after us. And that's the wild thing too, is being at these big festivals, your green room's right next to Ronnie Radke, or right next to Spirit Box, and you get to have conversations with these people and meet them. It's been so cool.
Yeah, man. It's the Danny Wimmer team puts on an amazing festival, and just such a it's like going away on a retreat or something, and just the people you get to interact with and the family atmosphere. It's just been amazing getting to work with them over the years as a media person.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it's like, for talent. But what year was this that this connection first started for you guys?
For us and all that, I think it was 2021. It would have been February of 21 when we went out to LA, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been 22. I don't know. My brain's kind of rotted out. I think it might have been 20. It might have been 22.
Okay, so this was all like last year, basically, that you got to do all these other festival shows with them.
Yeah, because I think 21 is when we went out to Chicago. One of the guys for FM, Frank, he owns a club. He has a club just outside Chicago called The Forge, I think. And we went out and hung out with him there, saw a show there, and then we played with Everclear, Hoobastank, and Wheatus at what's that venue called? The Coliseum, maybe. If I forget at this point, honestly, man, it's easy to forget when you've been all over the place. But yeah, that was one of the first big things that we did. And then, from there, that just kind of stacked up. We've played with the Struts in Chicago at the Cubby Bear since then. We did 2 shows with Smashing Pumpkins, Newport, Kentucky, and then Kemba Live in Columbus. Got to meet Billy Corgan and, So, but yeah, I think it was 22 when we went out to LA the first time.
Well, I forgot. What was that? That 30 pack you guys busted into in Dave Grohl's studio?
I think we bought cheap Busch Light, some Busch
Busch
Latte.
Light. I was gonna say that's not good for the memory either, though. So.
No. And then at the door, we noticed there's a bunch of random assortment of beers like down at the front door, and there's a big handle of Crown. And then, of course, at some point we asked Dave, we're like, hey, what's up with all that? And then specifically the Crown. He's like, oh, you guys can take whatever you want. We're like, well, the Crown too? He's like, yeah, fuck it, take it. That's mine. So Dave gave us basically like a almost completely full handle of Crown Royal. So you can imagine that night after that experience. And I think the next day we had a walkthrough with Harman, which is like JBL speakers and all that. They're one of our endorsements now. We walked through there and then got endorsed by them. So the next morning was a little rough after we, finished off Dave's bottle of Crown.
That's great. So, so you just basically recorded the single when you were out there. Has work started on the full album yet?
The full album's been done. That's been done for a while, since 2021, and we've been slowly getting singles out. And we did a live version of Body, and then we made up a whole new alternative version of Body as well with Perkins. Perkins, and then Taylor Wood, our rhythm guitar player, and he's the one that I do all the writing with. He and I do all the writing. Perkins and him kind of took the steering wheel on that, and they kind of rewrote and reworked Body into a whole another alternative single version of it that we're sitting on too. And you know how it is, management label and all that. They have a plan and they're sticking to it. And I think the record should be out sometime this year, but I don't ask a lot of those questions. That's not what I'm good at. I'm good at singing, playing music, and writing. So I let them handle that shit.
Yeah. So you don't know if it'll be out prior to,
Sonic?
Well, let's talk a little bit about, Sonic Temple now returning this year after the downtime after the world shut down.
The Panini.
Finally bringing back their big festival to your hometown. Like, what's this going to be like for you guys to get to play this one?
Fucking huge, man. I went to when it was Rock on the Range, the year that Red Hot Chili Peppers headlined, the year that Metallica headlined, and seeing local bands when I was dreaming of playing it, seeing local bands that I respected and loved get on there, and now this year we're on it. It means the world to you, man. It shows it's a lot of hard work. That your friends that are going to be there anyway. You got lots of friends that are going to be there, and representing Columbus. It really does mean the world. And we've played some of these other big festivals, but this one's definitely one of those check marks on the bucket list of like something we've always wanted to do. So we're really happy with the promoters and everything that got us on there, and all the local sponsors and all that shit that we finally got it, dude. It's awesome. It's awesome to be there. And I'm sure we'll be a little bit earlier of a time slot, but I think I know what stage we're on. I don't know if it's been announced yet, so I don't know if I can say, but it's a blessing, man. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like this whole journey's been, like you said, kind of fast, but huge for sure. And to be able to play, the infamous Viper Room, and then to play these other festivals and size, huge size crowds. Played Incarceration, so it's in your home state, but all that leading up to just to play where you used to play the small concert clubs now, in front of all your friends, being one of those fans out in the audience, and now getting to see yourself,
It's
perform
surreal,
on the
dude.
stage, dude. It's like huge. I'm
It's
excited
surreal.
for you guys, man.
I remember when we played Kemba opening for Smashing Pumpkins, looking out in the crowd, and I couldn't stop like pointing at the homies like out there. I was like, see somebody, you know, give me the rock fist, like yeah, and yell, and you could see you just keep seeing people that you know. So I imagine it'll probably be something similar when we play there. You're just gonna see all these faces because I'd say my first band and Taylor's first band got into the Columbus scene probably 2014 or 15 maybe. So you met, you know, all these people, man. So it's gonna be exciting to see those faces and represent Columbus as a Columbus band.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then you know, back to the album. So like you don't know if it'll be out before the festival, but you guys have a name for it yet and anything?
But no, I don't think we have a name. I think I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. I'm sure I'm allowed to say this. I'm the fucking artist, but I think we're gonna go with kind of like the Led Zeppelin approach. Like they had Zep 1, Zep 2, but instead of the Roman numerals, we artistically we kind of talked about maybe doing the elemental symbols. So the first one, Air, would be, you know, the elemental symbol for air, and after that we might do, you know, Earth or something, because we got another demo, a second song that'll maybe be on the next record or grouping of songs. It's called Common Ground. So we might play around with that. But you never know. Things change, shit changed. I mean, look at Machine Gun Kelly and Travis Barker. Machine Gun Kelly had a name for one of his albums and they got it tattooed on each other. And both of them got it tattooed on him. And then the record changed right before it dropped. The name of it changed. So you never know, man. We're all go with the flow people. So good ideas come from everywhere. And if you're too egotistical to change it last minute because of something, then you know that's a you problem. But I'm open to a lot of things. It just needs to be the right thing when it comes up. So
gotcha. And then what's like the latest single you guys are pushing right now?
The latest one is Tug of War. That's the last one we released, Tug of War. It's the third single we released a little while ago onto all platforms. It's a dope song, one of my favorites to play. Taylor and I wrote it actually really quick. Our drummer at the time doesn't play guitar really well at all, but he kind of had just this little hook thing. And then Taylor and I loved it, so we jumped on it. Taylor started rearranging it and like really constructing it into the blueprint of the song. And I started singing, and then I drove home to my house from there while he finished the recording on acoustic, the demo of it. By the time I got home, I had the demo, and I wrote all the lyrics in about 15, 20 minutes. And it's an awesome song. We love performing it. It's called Tug of War. And yeah, it's available on all streaming platforms.
And what's the like the meaning behind this song or message that you're sending out?
It's the push and pull of a relationship, if you will. Like a constant like push and pull of a relationship. And it's even mentioned in there. I push away and I'm right back in type of thing. And then there's like the chorus is falling over the place. You read about it. It kind of has a little bit of a social media aspect to how social media impacts relationships in today's society, how it makes things more difficult. So there's a couple different meanings behind why I wrote the lyrics. But to me, I encourage people to find their own meanings and make it important to them in their own interpretations, because you know, that's the beautiful thing about being creative in music is something I say or sing can mean 1,000 different things to 1,000 different people. And I encourage them to, you know, come up with those things.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's awesome. And then what kind of like you know, I mean, you got this big like basic like homecoming opportunity at the Sonic Temple Festival coming up this year, but what other goals do you guys have set for the rest of 2023?
Hopefully do some touring. We have a small string of shows coming up, probably before Sonic Temple, that aren't 100% announced, but mostly Ohio. One out of state, I think, that haven't been announced yet, so I can't really talk about them quite yet, but got a small string of shows for that. Hopefully we might be able to get onto another festival. I know for our size band, a lot of the Danny Wimmer or other festivals are 1 year on, 1 year off, or something like that. Maybe 2 years on, 1 year off. But hopefully we'll get some touring done. I have an RV and a band, so we got everything we need to do that. I'd like to get on the road with the boys and, you know, do the Road Warrior thing again. and then hopefully we'll be able to release the record and start recording album 2, because we have 60 plus demos that we have recorded demo wise that we're ready to attack in the studio. So
nice. And then anything that you guys have, you know, gone through that you feel like you could still improve on?
Oh, dude, for me, it's I'm never satisfied with anything. My voice, the tightness of the band, how much money we have to get certain things done. You know, we all work regular jobs still because it's a small business and you have to have capital put into it. I'm never satisfied. So if you ask me that question, everything needs to be improved on. But probably my biggest thing would be being better at social media, making content like TikToks and stuff like that. I need to be more present on those. But other than that, it's everything, man. We need to, if you want to be successful in this industry, you can't just hit a level and be satisfied. You need to never be satisfied and push, push, push.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it's like, I'm with you on the social media thing. It's like, I have to hit my daughters up and say, all right, how do I do this? You know, I got to promote the podcast or whatever. And just like, it's but that's where we're going as a world, I guess, you know?
Yep. I'm better with the random content, like silly stuff. I do a lot of dumb stuff that's funny or whatever, but it's hard for me to just set up a camera and force it. Usually someone needs to be like, oh my God, what's this idiot about to do, and start filming, and I do something stupid. Like, that's the content I think I'm better at. So just making content, like putting your camera out, that's a little more difficult for me, but I need to be better at it. That's, you know, that's what I chose to do. I chose to be a front man, chose to be socially present like this. So that's probably my biggest area of improvement that I need to make.
Yeah, I got you on that. I mean, I got into this whole podcast thing. It's almost like therapy for me. It's like, you know, I got out of the military, and then it's like I'm, you know, in recovery, you know, and so it's like I'm getting sober and I'm having to feel feelings, and I'm like having to socialize without my, you know, my go-tos and stuff like that. And it just like, it was tough for a while at the beginning. And now it's just like, the more I do this and the more I step out of my box, this becomes like a therapy for me.
Yeah, you need an outlet.
Talking to people. Yeah.
You need that outlet. And that's what, luckily I have music. And when I get mad, I got the screaming songs, or I can write an angry pen or write a love song, or, you know, whatever. So yeah, you found your outlet, which is very, very crucial. I think a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. So it's been, it's, you know, I'm still learning as I go, you know, but it's been an amazing journey, and I get to talk to artists like you and hear your stories, you know, and it's just like, I always find inspiration in some of the people I talk to, and hopefully, you know, the listeners will pick something up too. Like,
that's the coolest part, isn't it? The people you meet, like, you meet so many cool characters, cool people, and like, just what you learn from getting outside of, you know, maybe your hometown or your own shell, or it's just such an impactful thing to do what you do or do what I do, where you get to meet all these people from different walks of life, and it really just gives you like a more cultured experience of what it is to be on this fucking earth, you know? Yeah,
exactly. And what, like, I try and, you know, teach my daughters, but what I've learned a lot too is just like, you know, and hopefully, you know, the fans that, you know, out there pick this up as well, is just like, you know, we're the artists I get to talk to, and, you know, people put them on these pedestals or whatever. And I'm not saying a lot of people haven't earned their spot there or whatever, but they just want to be treated normal, you know, like you were saying, kicking it with Dave Grohl at the, you know, they just want to be treated like a normal person and normal dude. And you know, it's more of a headache. They got to almost put guards up when you're coming at them all like crazy. It's like, and for people to hear them be comfortable and open, you know, whenever I have guests on here, I think that's, you know, I learn from it, and hopefully, you know, like I said, the fans learn from it too, that, you know, we're all people just, you know,
I mean, I'm not even that big yet, but there's been bars I go to or whatever, you know, and I'm just trying to sit there and have a drink. And the next thing you know, people are asking about the band, what's happening with the band, And it's like not annoying, because we haven't got to the point yet where it's like, I just want a night. It's cool. Like, I'm flattered by it, but I could definitely see how that would get to people on the levels of the Dave Grohls or whatever. You can't really go anywhere And like I said, I'm only experiencing it on such a minute, like small level, and I'm happy about it and I'm flattered by it. But I could see how over years and years and years of you can't even go out and have a fucking drink at a bar without. So mad respect to people like Dave and Stephen Perkins who are able to take it on stride and be, you know, really good humans about it all too. So.
Yeah, agree, man. So, Lucas, I want to ask you a couple of questions I normally ask guests that I have on here. We've touched, you know, a little bit on some of the musical inspirations that you've had, but this is always a tough one for musicians when I ask to narrow it down. But who are your top 3 musical artists
right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do right now, not all the time. Because all the time we're gonna be here for another 2 hours. We'll try to figure the hell out. Right now, I would have to say, probably Bad Flower, Nothing But Thieves, and Cleopatra.
Nice.
And I get asked that enough that I've been able to like think about it in my free time, but in no specific order. Nothing But Thieves because Connor Mason's an animal on vocals. I love his falsettos. He's got that Jeff Buckley influence. Bad Flower because Josh Katz is an animal, and they're like more edgy hard rock, and he is unhinged at times. And then Cleopatra because they're like that Canadian 2-piece, and they're down tuned a little bit, and they're just heavy, cool fucking music. So I'd say those 3: Bad Flower, Nothing But Thieves, and Cleopatra.
Gotcha. And then what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school today?
Taxes, economics and taxes, probably. How to be able to actually do that a little better to prepare you for you know, some stuff. I think education in general, there should be more focus on that for young people, because the things that I learned in high school, it would have been nice to learn some more adult things like the taxes and how to take advantage of your small business or maybe small business ownership and stuff like that. Probably.
Yeah, no, that's like the number one. If this was like Family Feud questions, that's like the number one I get from people that I have on here, and I ask that question about the taxes and
yeah, we have to hire somebody to go over ours probably because we could do it our own, but it's so time consuming. And if you're an artist, you're supposed to be creating, not digging deep into taxes and small businesses and losing your fucking mind over numbers. I'm terrible at math anyway. So.
I feel you on that. And then who are 3 people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person you are today?
I'm going to lump my parents into one. So both my parents, my dad, Bill, and my mother, Robin. Taylor Wood, who's the guitarist for our band. Taylor Wood, my best friend and bandmate. Even though we haven't had a longer relationship, I think people who have known you for a short amount of time can have a larger impact on you than people you've known your whole life. So I'd say him. And then, third wise, probably one of my best friends from growing up in high school, who's somebody that I get to play video games with when I get free time. My buddy Caleb, probably. Because over time, he's been one of my really good friends. We get to play video games, and that's when I'm defragging my brain and get to be normal. And he treats me like a normal, you know, treats me like a normal person. Will tell me when I'm being a piece of shit or whatever. So probably him. So
nice. And then, are there any organizations that you support and encourage others to check out?
That's a great question. I don't know if I've ever gotten that question before. All the interviews that I've done, organizations to check out. Fuck, I wish I had a list of some good Columbus organizations or somebody local. Damn, that's a good question, man. I've never been asked that one. I would say look local. Look local would be my answer. Try to find someone local that's not necessarily corporate, nonprofit, and look local for people that are actually able to affect change in your community and like where you live.
Well, that right there is a good answer. I mean, I'm on the same. I agree 100% with that. You know, what can you do to affect change in your backyard? Because it's like we got all these, you know, faceless places that say they're helping, but you don't see a lot of it, you know, but when you actually see the change happening in your backyard, you know, you feel more apt to. donate your time and money to.
Yep. And then
those
you're
types of things.
then you're meeting the people that are actually directly doing it and responsible for it in your hometown. So I'd say something local. That's I know the Star House in Columbus, I think, is one where my buddy worked at for a little bit. It's Troubled Youth in Columbus, I believe. That's one. Like, there's different things I would say local that are actually immediately affecting change in our local community. So
Nice. And then this one I like asking. It takes everybody back. But favorite toy as a child?
oof. Yeah, I always had like little Hot Wheels cars and like a little construction equipment, but probably whatever video game system I had. I think we got the place. Well, we had a Super NES and then we had a N64. So for me, it was always video games. Probably were my favorite toys, if that counts. And if not, then
That's what led you to Linkin Park. So right.
yeah. It was literally, I think, PlayStation 1, maybe PlayStation 2. There's a skateboarding game where A Place for My Head was in. So yeah,
Nice.
but favorite toy probably video games in my free time still. So
Nice. And then any message that you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
thank you, and we love you. Get home safe. My brother-in-law is a former Marine. We have friends that have served, so we appreciate you guys, regardless of whatever fucking politics is going on, what side you're on. These people are, fighting and putting their lives up for our freedom. So let's not make it political. Like, I don't care what you're doing. These people have lives and families. So thank you, and get home safe.
Awesome, man. Well, man, Lucas, thanks, dude. It's been good. Thanks for the time. It's been good talking to you, and I'm definitely looking forward to catching you guys at the big homecoming Sonic Temple performance.
Will I get to meet you? We're
man.
playing Sunday. Will I get to meet you?
I hope so. I still haven't gotten the official approval. I mean, I've got approved for giveaway tickets, but I haven't got the official media, blessing yet that I'll be.
Yeah, the
being
media
a
credentials. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a walk wherever you want type pass. But hey, man,
Yeah,
if you
pretty
do get
much.
there, make sure you email us or management or whatever, and let's link up. I like to put faces and names and shake the hands, especially
Yeah.
with a former military guy. So yeah,
Yeah, man, for sure. I'll make sure we get connected, man.
hell yeah, brother.
Appreciate that. And then real quick before I let you go, you mind doing one last favor for me?
Yeah, of course.
Just cut a promo ID for the show. Just introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Yeah. Hey, my name's Lucas, and I'm from Aeir. I'm the singer for Aeir, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
You want to do that one more time?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, what's up? My name's Lucas. I'm the singer for Aeir, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Awesome. Lucas, thank you so much, man. It's good talking with you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very
brother.
much. Pleasure meeting you, brother. Thank you so much. Hopefully, I'll see you on Sunday for Sonic Temple, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good.